Every person who comes to you for help is not always interested in being free from their problems. Imagine that. Just because they are sharing their struggle with you, it doesn't mean that they want to change. In this video, I want to explore this idea of why an individual doesn't change. I'm going to give you 7 reasons a person does not change. Hello everyone, Rick Thomas here. We're helping people live effective lives. The number of people who want to change is actually a lot smaller than what you may think. Sometimes we forget this when we make our appeals, especially to those that we love the most. Though at some level of their hearts, they may want to live a different kind of life, too often they choose what is familiar because change is hard. Biblical repentance is difficult for all of us. It's like trying to lose weight or trying to quit smoking. What is that one annoying thing that you want to change, but you have not been able to kick it yet? How many of us have tried, but found the discipline to rid ourselves of a bad habit is a lot harder than we first perceived? If you do not understand this problem, you could become frustrated with people who stay stuck in their problems. But even so, it is important for all of us to understand that God's grace is sufficient. God's grace is sufficient for anyone to mature in Christ. There are no problems that are beyond the scope of His grace. To say or to think that your set of problems are different and you cannot change, it is to deny the power of Christ's death, His resurrection, His ascension, and His mediation. Imagine if you were sitting before the Lord and you were trying to persuade Him with an excuse for why you were not changing. What could you say? What could I tell Christ? Lord, your grace was not enough. Lord, you should have done more. Jesus, you just don't understand. I'm different. My situation is unique. No, those will not work. My unwillingness to change is always because of me, not Him. He has given me all that I need for life and godly living. At some point, I have to realize that any lack of change in my life is a matter of a personal choice that I am making. If I choose not to change, I need to examine my excuses. And so in this video, I want to cover 7 reasons. This is not an exhaustive list, but 7 common reasons that people use for not transforming. Perhaps you will be able to identify yourself in some of these reasons. They are not in any order of priority. Reason number 1 that a person does not want to change is that they are problem-centered. Problem-centered, problem-focused people do not perceive the power of the gospel. Though the answer is right in front of them, there can be a reluctance on their part to submit to God's wonder-working power. Through the years, the Lord has sent me a few problem-centered people who did not want to change. Though they would not say that they had decided not to change, no one has ever really said that, but the truth is, they didn't want to. They were the glass is half empty people. What I mean by that is you ask them how they are doing and they would give you a list of problems. After a while, you would be tempted to grow weary of them. Grace and gratitude were not part of their day-to-day speech. It would not matter what you said to them. It would not matter what angle that you took to turn the conversation to Christ and His grace, but their problems are always too big. God's solutions are always too small. A person will not change if they are problem-centered. The second reason a person will not change is it's their identity. People stuck in a rut for an extended period can find their identity in that rut. I remember one time talking to a man who had a foster child. The foster child hoarded the very few belongings that he brought into the foster parent's home. He would sit in the middle of his room and play with his few trinkets that he had, and he would ignore the toys that the foster parents were offering to him that they had provided for this kid. You could say that the kid had a squalor identity, which is all he knew. He didn't think it was odd to hold on to a few broken possessions tenaciously because of the shaping influences that had been in his life, and they were so dominant and powerful. It just became who he was. Now, if this kid continues to live in this kind of fear-based thinking, well, after a while, when he becomes an adult, he will be entrenched into his identity, a self-captivating thought pattern. A life of freedom and hope and peace and love and grace and security, they may be good ideas for this person, but he's not really going to embrace them. Because of the shaping influences that are in his life, this is who he is in his mind. It has become his identity, thus it's hard for him to change. Reason number three, that a person does not change is they want a quick fix. One of the most common themes I have seen with unchanging people is their desire for an easy answer. It's like the guy who joined the fitness center in January, and by April, you couldn't find him on a radar. With some people, when they find out what is involved in the change process, they balk at the opportunity that the gracious Lord is holding out to them. Part of the problem is we live in a drive-through, pill-centered culture where everything has to be instant. If you can't be instantly gratified, instantly satisfied, then I'm not interested. And some people do think that way. Sanctification is different. Sanctification is a cross. Sanctification is a death, not an easy street. Being holy will cost your life, which does not sell well in suburban America. Sin is an interruption to the movers and shakers who are looking for a quick fix so they can keep on living the dream. Sanctification by the sweat of your brow is passé. Legitimately stuck individuals, they may want to be free, but many of them do not want to pay the price. And so they go into sticker shock when you tell them about the cost of change. You can have what you want, but you have to die first. One of the ironies with this type of worldview, this quick fix mentality, is that these people will do whatever it takes in an area of their lives where they do want something. If they want something to change and it's something they're passionate about, well, all of a sudden they have the ability and the skill set to do it. But it's when it comes to sanctification that there seems to be no persevering grace. And so problem number 3 is those who want the quick fix. They have a hard time changing. 7 reasons a person does not change. Reason number 4, I like my sin. Now we know that there is a form of perverse pleasure in sin. We learned that in Hebrews 11:25, that there is pleasure in sin for a season. If there were no pleasure in sin, we wouldn't like it. Think about it this way. I eat ice cream. Why? Because I enjoy it. We do what we enjoy. I never eat mayonnaise because I don't like it. It doesn't taste good. If I have 2 options, I'm always going to choose the thing that I enjoy. Our ultimate loyalty is to ourselves. We're not motivated to choose things that we perceive are bad to us. If a person continues to select a sinful habit or a sinful lifestyle, it is because there is some pleasure, even though it may be perverse pleasure, found in that choice, which is greater than a choice to change their life. Now, they may bemoan the fact of their sad circumstance, and they may very well be telling you the truth when they're bemoaning their sad circumstance. What they are not telling you is that their sin is not as bad as doing what it takes to change. Let me give you an illustration. The habituated angry person is like this. He may be able to talk at length about how bad his anger is and the devastating effects of his verbal rants on others. But there is more to the story. He is making a choice. He chooses his sinful approach anger because he has learned it works for him. It gives him what he wants. And this is what James is teaching in James 4. Why? What is the cause of your quarrels and conflicts? Why do you get angry? It's because you desire. It is a choice that you desire. The choice to sin with anger seems better to this person than the option of doing the hard thing, which is exercising self-control. We do what we prefer. In this way, the angry person is no better than the crack addict. They choose their drug of choice to get what they want. In this case, they choose anger, and because they like their sin, they're not going to change. Reason number 5, I fear freedom. Listen to this. Think about it. Some people who have been habituated in bondage for a long time, they find a twisted comfort in their prison of pain. My brother was like this. He went to prison, and I don't mean it metaphorically. He went to prison when he was 17 years old. He was released 3 times. Each time after being released, he would do something illegal to go back to prison. He became an institutionalized convict. The prison was his home. He learned the system. He became comfortable with it. People who live in stressful long-term situations may whine about their problems, problem-centered person, but they can also be afraid of living a life that is free from what they have always known. It's kind of like the kid who has the squalor identity. The world was a big and scary place for my brother. He couldn't control it, but he could control or he could manage prison life. He was not afraid of incarceration. He was like the trapeze artist who had to let go of one person before he would grab hold of the other person. And when you're in between of letting go and grabbing hold to something, there's a moment of time when you are holding on to no one. And so he chose never to let go of what he had. A fear-motivated person stuck in dysfunction is not likely to reach out and grab God's hand to be free. He will choose to keep hanging on to what is familiar, never able to fully realize the freedom that is just beyond his fingertips. Reason number 5, he's afraid of freedom. Reason number 6 that a person does not change is they like attention. I had a friend who his wife committed adultery. It was a long time ago. She eventually left him for another man, and without question, it was the worst season of his life. He spent several years spiritually wandering through confusion and discouragement. Now, here's the interesting thing. He liked attention. And we're talking about perverse pleasure already a couple of times in this video. Well, his friends came around him when he was going through his suffering, and he liked their acceptance. He liked their respect, their approval, the love that they were giving him. He liked it so much that he didn't want to lose it. He liked the attention that his problem brought to him. He hated the problem that his wife committed adultery and left him, but he loved the attention that he received. Here was the issue. As he began to get better, stronger in the Lord, more fortified by God's grace, he didn't want to tip his hand. He didn't want to let others know that he was doing better because he was afraid that, well, once you're doing better, there's no more flowers, there's no more cards, there's no more visits. And so he had a hard time telling other people that, really, I am doing okay. He didn't want to change because he liked the attention that he received for the problem that he was in. And then finally, reason number 7, not being honest. Dishonesty. Now, you could say that this last group of people is, well, it's the most common of all. In fact, you can find dishonesty woven into to the first 6 reasons that I gave you. There is a component to deception in all of them. And so do not be surprised by a person's ability to spin the truth. They're just not being honest with you about their problems. I've said many times that counseling is a lying profession, that people lie to me all the time, and I can give you scores of examples of what I'm talking about. But I'm not disappointed. That doesn't bother me. It doesn't disappoint me necessarily. I feel sad that a person would choose to hide the truth from me when they're coming to me for help. But I do understand that it is a temptation. But let me share with you one of the reasons that some people do hide the truth when they talk about wanting to change, but they're not revealing to you all that is going on in their lives. They are vetting you. They are vetting you to see if they can trust you. They're not willing on the front end just to come out with all of their problems and tell you everything that is going on in their lives, because they don't know you. They don't know if they can trust you. They don't know if you're competent enough to help them. And so one of the reasons that some people are not honest is because they're vetting you. And so I've just given you 7 reasons that will hinder anyone from changing. Perhaps you can add to this list. Perhaps you would like to talk to us about these ideas, or maybe you have something else that you would like to chat with us about. If you want to do that, we have a free community forum on our website. We have a team of people that would love to meet with you and advise you and give you some kind of direction in your life. Just click on the link in the description of this video and you can jump right out to our free community forum. There's no cost whatsoever. It is provided for you by those who support our ministry. And so if we can serve you, please let us know. There's also a link in the description of this video of everything that I just shared with you, and so you can read it if you wish. And then finally, if you like these videos and are benefiting from them, I want you to do 2 things. One, I want you to subscribe to our YouTube channel, and then I want you to share our videos with your friends. If you would do that, I would greatly appreciate it. Thank you so much for watching this video, 7 reasons that a person does not change.